Charlie West was the first to notice something was wrong with the deer. As he hiked through the forest trails of Pinewood National Park, he spotted 3 of them lying still near a creek. They weren't moving. Their bodies looked healthy except for the strange purple marks around their eyes and noses. Charlie had been a park ranger for 15 years, but he had never seen anything like this. He called his boss, Linda Brown, on his radio. "I found 3 dead deer by Maple Creek," Charlie said. "They look weird, purple marks on their faces." Linda told him to take pictures and not to touch the animals. She would call someone from the Wildlife Disease Center. 2 days later, more animals died. Birds fell from trees. Foxes and rabbits were found dead on hiking paths. Fish floated upside down in streams. The park closed to visitors while experts came to study what was happening. Dr. Amy Powell arrived from the disease center with a team of scientists. They wore special suits that covered their whole bodies. They took samples from the dead animals and set up a lab in the park's main office. "We need to work fast," Amy told her team. "Whatever this is, it's killing everything." Reports started coming in from other parks across the country, then from Canada, then from countries all over the world. Animals were dying everywhere with the same purple marks. In the small town of Riverdale, not far from Pinewood Park, vet Joe Garcia was overwhelmed with sick pets. Dogs and cats came in with purple spots around their eyes. Within hours, they all died. Nothing Joe did helped them. "I've tried everything," Joe told his assistant Nancy. His eyes were red from lack of sleep. "All the medicines, all the treatments. Nothing works." The news was full of stories about the animal deaths. People began to panic. They kept their pets indoors and avoided parks and forests. Farmers watched with horror as their livestock sickened and died. At the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, Dr. Peter Morris worked day and night studying the new disease. His team named it Purple Death because of the marks it left. They discovered it was a virus, but unlike any they had seen before. "The strangest thing," Peter told his colleague Dr. Mary Smith, "is that the virus is in humans too. Blood tests show many of us have it, but it doesn't seem to hurt us." Mary nodded. "People report mild symptoms. A headache, maybe a slight fever for a day, then nothing." "Why?" Peter asked. "Why does it kill everything else but not us?" No one had an answer. The virus spread faster than anyone thought possible. Within weeks, zoos reported that almost all their animals had died. Wildlife in nature preserves was vanishing. The oceans were filling with dead fish and whales. President Laura Adams addressed the nation on TV. Her face was serious as she spoke. "We face a crisis unlike any in human history," she said. "Scientists around the world are working together to understand why this virus affects humans differently than other species. We ask everyone to stay calm and follow safety guidelines." But it was hard to stay calm. Food became a problem as farm animals died and crops failed without bees to pollinate them. Governments released emergency supplies. People started growing vegetables in any space they could find. In his lab, Peter made an important discovery. He called a worldwide meeting of scientists online to share what he found. "Human DNA contains a unique sequence," he explained as he showed images on the screen. "It appears to be from an ancient virus that infected our ancestors thousands of years ago. This old viral DNA now protects us from purple death." Dr. Kim Lee from South Korea spoke up. "We found the same thing. Somehow humans got lucky. An infection in our past is saving us now." As months passed, the world grew quieter. Birds no longer sang in the morning. Streets in many cities were empty except for people. Parks became places of silence, with only trees and plants still living. Charlie West, the ranger who found the first dead deer, now worked with a special team collecting DNA samples from the few animals still alive in protected areas. These animals were kept in clean rooms with filtered air. Scientists hoped they might use this DNA someday to bring species back. One evening, Charlie sat outside his cabin in the park. The silence was eerie. No crickets chirped. No owls hooted. He remembered how the forest used to be full of sounds. His phone rang. It was Amy Powell from the Disease Center. "Charlie, we need to talk," she said. Her voice sounded strange. "We've been studying the virus more closely. It doesn't look natural." "What do you mean?" Charlie asked. "The way it's built, its structure. Purple Death appears to be engineered. Someone or something made this virus." Charlie felt a chill despite the warm evening. "But who would do this? Why?" "I don't know," Amy said. "But I'm not the only one who thinks this. Scientists around the world are noticing the same thing." Later that night, Charlie couldn't sleep. He walked outside and looked up at the stars. They seemed brighter now without the light pollution from nearby cities, many of which had lost power as systems failed without enough workers to maintain them. He thought about what Amy had said. If someone had made this virus, what was their purpose? Did they know humans would survive while everything else died? As if in answer to his unspoken questions, Charlie saw something unusual in the sky. A light that moved in ways no plane or satellite would move. It hovered, then shot across the horizon at impossible speed. Charlie had never believed in aliens or conspiracies. But now, as he stood alone in a world growing emptier by the day, he wondered what else might be out there, and whether Earth's strangest chapter was just beginning. 3 months had passed since Charlie first saw the dead deer. The world had changed in ways no one could have imagined. Charlie now worked at the National Wildlife Preservation Center, a huge building that used to be a shopping mall. Inside were special rooms where scientists kept the few animals that had survived. Each room had air filters and strict rules about who could enter. The animals lived in glass cases, protected from the virus that still filled the air outside. "How's the wolf pup doing?" Charlie asked Diane Green, one of the scientists. Diane checked her tablet. "Better today, but we only have 5 wolves left. In the whole country. Maybe 30 worldwide." Charlie nodded sadly. Every day the numbers dropped lower. In Washington, President Adams met with leaders from around the world. They sat far apart at a large table, even though humans couldn't make each other sick with Purple Death. "We need to face facts," said the president. "Most animal species will be gone within months. We must save what we can and plan for a different future." The Japanese Prime Minister spoke next. "Our scientists have collected DNA from as many species as possible. We hope someday to bring them back." "And food?" asked the leader from Brazil. "Without animals to eat or to help grow crops, how will we feed everyone?" Dr. Mary Smith from the CDC stood up. "We've been working on new foods made from plants that don't need animal pollination, and lab-grown proteins that taste like meat." The meeting went on for hours as they discussed the new world they faced. Meanwhile, at sea, Captain Jack Fisher guided his ship through waters that seemed empty of life. He had been a fisherman before Purple Death. Now he collected samples from the ocean for scientists. Jack's first mate, Ben Harris, called him to the deck. "Captain, you need to see this." Floating on the water was a dead whale. Around it were hundreds of dead fish. "It's happening faster than they said it would," Ben whispered. Jack looked out at the empty horizon. "I've sailed these waters for 30 years. There used to be so much life. Back on land, in suburbs and cities, people adjusted to the strange new silence. No birds sang in the morning, no dogs barked. The only pets left were a few in special protective bubbles, mostly owned by the very rich." Ellen Davis missed her cat, Sam, who had died in the first wave. She worked in a grocery store that was often empty of fresh food. Today they had received a shipment of new lab-grown meat. People lined up around the block for it. "It almost tastes like beef," one customer told Ellen. "Almost." At a farm outside the city, Frank Wilson walked through empty barns. His cows and chickens were all gone. The government had given him seeds for new types of wheat that didn't need bees to pollinate. He planted them, but farming had lost its joy. Frank's wife, Judy, joined him, carrying 2 cups of coffee. "I heard something on the radio today," she said. "Some scientist thinks the virus might not be natural, that someone made it." Frank took a sip of coffee. "Why would anyone do that? Kill all the animals but leave us?" Judy shook her head. "I don't know. It doesn't make sense. In his lab at the CDC, Dr. Peter Morris hadn't slept properly in days. He stared at computer screens showing the virus structure. "There's something we're missing," he told Mary. "Look at this part of the virus. It's too perfect, too designed." Mary zoomed in on her screen. "You're right. No natural virus would have this pattern. So someone made it," Peter said. "But who? And how did they spread it worldwide so quickly?" At the Wildlife Preservation Center, Charlie helped feed a baby tiger, one of only 20 left in the world. The small creature drank from a bottle, unaware that it was among the last of its kind. Dr. Amy Powell entered the room. Since their phone call about the virus possibly being engineered, she had been working with government officials. "Charlie, can we talk?" she asked. They walked to a quiet corner of the center. "The president is making an announcement tonight," Amy said. "They've found something. Strange signals coming from space, starting just before the virus appeared." Charlie felt the same chill he had felt that night when he saw the strange light in the sky. "You mean aliens?" he asked, the word sounding silly even as he said it. Amy nodded slowly. "Maybe. Or maybe it's something else. But the timing matches too well to be a coincidence." That night, millions of people watched their screens as President Adams spoke. She looked tired but determined. "My fellow citizens of Earth," she began, "we have evidence that the purple death virus was artificially created, and we have reason to believe it may have come from beyond our world." People around the globe listened in shock as she explained about the signals detected by space agencies. Strange broadcasts that scientists couldn't decode, but that began days before the first animals died. "We don't know who sent these signals or created this virus," the president said, "but we are not giving up. Humanity has survived this attack and we will rebuild." After the speech, Charlie walked outside the preservation center. The night was clear, and he could see more stars than ever before. Somewhere up there might be the answer to why this had happened. His phone buzzed. It was a message from Amy. "Come quickly. One of our satellites picked up something entering Earth's atmosphere. Something big." Charlie looked up at the stars again. Were they watching? Had they come to see what their virus had done? As he hurried back inside, he wondered if humanity's greatest challenge was just beginning. They had survived the virus. But what came next might be even harder to face. Charlie raced through the halls of the Wildlife Preservation Center. All around him, people rushed in different directions. Some carried equipment, others talked urgently into phones. When he reached the main control room, he found Amy staring at a large screen. "What is it?" Charlie asked, trying to catch his breath. Amy pointed at the screen. "That." The screen showed a satellite image of something large and round hovering above Earth. It wasn't like any spacecraft Charlie had seen in movies or books. It looked more like a giant bubble with a smooth metallic surface. "It's about 3 miles wide," Amy said. "It appeared an hour ago and hasn't moved since." "Has it done anything?" Charlie asked. "No, it's just watching." Across the country, people gathered around screens to see the spacecraft. Some ran to stores to buy food and supplies. Others went to churches to pray. Many just stood outside, looking up at the sky, though the object was too high to see without a telescope. In Washington, President Adams met with military leaders. General Rick Moore showed her images of the spacecraft. "We've tried to contact it," he said. "No response. We've sent jets to observe it, but we're keeping them at a safe distance." "What are our options?" the president asked. "We could try to shoot it down," said General Moore. "But if these are the same beings who created the virus, they might have other weapons. Attacking could make things worse." The president nodded. "Let's wait, see what they do." But hours passed, and the spacecraft did nothing. It just hovered, silent and still. At the CDC, Peter and Mary worked with scientists around the world to share information. "The virus has killed nearly all animal life," Peter said during a video call. "But plants are surviving, and some insects." "Why? Would aliens want to kill animals but leave plants and humans?" asked a scientist from India. "Maybe it's not about killing," Mary suggested. "Maybe it's about preparing Earth for something." Back at the preservation center, Charlie helped secure the remaining animals. If the aliens came for them, the center would be ready to hide their precious cargo, the last examples of species that had once filled the world. As night fell, Charlie joined Amy on the roof of the center. They looked up at the stars, knowing the spacecraft was up there somewhere. "What do you think they want?" Charlie asked. Amy shook her head. "I don't know. But I keep thinking about something my grandfather used to say. When a farmer clears a field, it's usually because they plan to plant something new." Charlie felt a chill. "You think they're clearing Earth? Getting rid of the animals so they can bring their own?" Before Amy could answer, her phone rang. She answered, listened, then turned to Charlie with wide eyes. "They're broadcasting a message. On all channels, all frequencies." They rushed back inside to the control room. On the screen was a symbol, a circle with strange markings around it. "What does it mean?" Charlie asked. No one knew, but computers around the world began working to decode it. 3 days later, the message was understood. It wasn't words exactly, but a series of images showing the aliens' homeworld. A planet much like Earth, but with different continents. Then images of their people, tall, thin beings with pale skin and large eyes. Not so different from humans, but clearly not the same. The final images showed many planets, all connected by lines. Like a map, Dr. Sam Lee, a language expert, explained what they thought it meant. "They're showing us their civilization. Many worlds all connected. We think they're trying to say they want to meet us." The president made the decision. A team would go to a designated place, a flat area in the desert, to meet the aliens. The team included scientists, language experts, and military personnel for protection. Charlie was surprised when Amy told him they were both invited to join the team. "Why us?" he asked. "Because you found the first infected animals," Amy explained, "and I've been studying the virus from the beginning. They want people who understand what happened." The meeting place was prepared, a simple platform with chairs, bright lights so everything could be recorded, hundreds of cameras to broadcast the meeting to the world. The day came. Charlie and Amy stood with the others waiting. The spacecraft had moved, now hovering directly above them, but still high in the sky. Then a smaller craft emerged from the larger one. It descended slowly, landing softly on the desert floor about 100 yards from the platform. Everyone held their breath. A door opened in the side of the craft. A ramp extended to the ground, and they came out. 3 aliens walked down the ramp. They looked much like the images they had sent, tall and thin with large eyes. They wore simple silver suits that covered their bodies. The lead alien raised a hand in what seemed like a greeting. Dr. Lee stepped forward, raising his hand the same way. "Welcome to Earth," he said. The alien produced a small device. When it spoke, the device translated its words into English. "We are the Watchers," it said. "We have come to help." The president stepped forward. "Help with what? Did you create the virus that killed our animals?" The alien's large eyes blinked slowly. "Not us. The Harvesters." A murmur went through the human group. "The Harvesters?" Dr. Lee asked. "They seed worlds with life," the alien explained. "They wait. They harvest. They have done this for millions of years." Charlie felt a cold realization. Earth was seeded? All life here was put here by these harvesters? The alien nodded. "Yes. And now they have come to collect. The virus prepares the way." "But why did it leave humans alive?" Amy asked. The alien turned to her. "Because you are different. You carry the mark of another. Long ago, another race visited Earth. They left their trace in your DNA. This makes you immune. This makes you unexpected." The alien looked up at the sky. "The harvesters will come soon to take what they believe is theirs. We came to warn you, to help you prepare." "Prepare for what?" the president asked. "For war," the alien said. "The harvesters will not give up their claim easily. And you are the first species ever to survive their preparation virus." Charlie looked at the vast desert around them, then up at the stars. Their world had already changed so much, and now they learned it would change even more. The silent Earth was about to become a battleground. The meeting with the Watchers lasted for hours. Charlie watched as the aliens explained more about the Harvesters and the danger Earth faced. The Harvesters created life on many worlds, said the lead alien, who called itself Xylo. They watch it grow for millions of years. Then they return to collect samples of each species. Like a cosmic zoo? Amy asked. More like farmers gathering crops, Xylo replied. They believe they own all life they created. President Adams leaned forward. But you said humans have DNA from another alien race. Who were they? Xylo's large eyes blinked slowly. The creators. They visited Earth long ago when humans were still evolving. They left their mark in your genes. This is why you survived. The virus. After the meeting, the humans gathered to discuss what they had learned. General Moore wanted to prepare for war immediately. Others suggested trying to talk with the Harvesters when they arrived. We need to understand their technology, Dr. Lee said. The Watchers offered to help us. We should accept. President Adams agreed. We'll work with the Watchers, learn what we can, prepare for whatever comes next. In the weeks that followed, the Watchers shared some of their knowledge. They helped humans build better satellites to watch for the Harvesters' arrival. They provided medicine that might help regrow some of the lost animal species from DNA samples. Charlie worked closely with a Watcher named Ela. She was younger than Xylo and seemed curious about humans. Your world was so full of life, Ela said as they walked through the empty animal enclosures at the Preservation Center. The Harvesters will be angry that so much of their collection is gone. Why do they wait millions of years between visits? Charlie asked. They seed many worlds, Ela explained. Then they travel to distant galaxies to do the same. When they return, they expect to find countless new species that evolved while they were gone. Like leaving a garden to grow wild, Charlie said. Ela nodded. Yes. And now they will find their garden has been changed. Around the world, humans prepared. Military bases buzzed with activity as soldiers trained with new weapons based on Watcher technology. Scientists worked day and night to understand the alien science. Regular people built shelters and stored food just in case. One evening, Charlie found Amy working late in her lab. She was studying the virus samples again. I think I found something, she said without looking up. The virus doesn't just kill animals. It collects their DNA. Charlie moved closer to see her screen. What do you mean? Look here. Amy pointed to an image of the virus. This part captures genetic material from whatever it infects. If an animal dies, the virus stores its complete DNA. But why? Charlie asked. I think... Amy hesitated. I think it's so the Harvesters can recreate any species that died. They wouldn't just collect physical samples, they'd want the genetic code too. Charlie felt a chill. So even the animals that died aren't really gone. The Harvesters could bring them back? Maybe, Amy said. But only if they get the virus samples. 3 months after the Watchers arrived, the alarm sounded. The new satellites detected something massive entering the solar system. Something much bigger than the Watchers' ship. Everyone gathered in the control center. On the screen, they watched as an enormous spacecraft approached Earth. It was at least 50 miles across, shaped like a disk with countless lights along its surface. The Harvesters, Xylo said quietly. They have arrived. The giant ship took position far from Earth, beyond the moon. Then smaller ships began to launch from it. Hundreds of them heading toward Earth. They're scanning the planet, Ela explained as she read data from her own devices. Looking for life forms to collect. The smaller ships spread out around the globe. They didn't land but hovered high in the atmosphere. Green beams of light shot down from them, sweeping across the land and sea. Hours later, a message came. It appeared on every screen in every language. We are the Harvesters. We have returned to collect what is ours. We find our garden damaged, many species missing. Explain. President Adams spoke from the White House, her message broadcast to the Harvester ships. The virus you sent killed most animal life on our planet. We, the humans, survived. We wish to speak with you peacefully." There was no reply for a long time. Then, "Humans should not have survived our preparation protocol. You have been altered." "By whom?" Before the president could answer, the Watchers sent their own message to the Harvesters. "We are here. The humans are under our protection." The response came quickly. "Watchers, you interfere where you have no right. This world and all life on it belongs to us." "No life belongs to you," the Watchers replied. "All species have the right to exist freely." The Harvesters' next message was brief. "We disagree." What followed was like nothing Charlie had ever seen. The Harvester ships fired weapons at the Watcher ship. Beams of light so bright they turned night to day. The Watcher ship defended itself, sending out pulses that knocked the smaller Harvester ships away. On the ground, people watched the battle in the sky with fear and wonder. "What can we do?" Charlie asked Hila, who was monitoring the fight. "Your people must be ready," she said. "The Harvesters will not give up easily. They may try to land and take what they want by force." Charlie looked at the screens showing the space battle. "But what do they want now? Most of the animals are gone." Hila turned to him, her large eyes serious. "They want you, Charlie. Humans. You survived their virus. You carry DNA from the creators. You are now the most valuable species on this planet to them." As if to confirm her words, new messages appeared from the Harvesters. "Humans. The Watchers cannot protect you forever. You are our property. Surrender samples of your population and the rest may live in peace." President Adams didn't hesitate in her reply. "We are not property. We will not surrender anyone." The battle in the sky intensified. More Harvester ships arrived. The Watcher ship began to show damage, parts of it glowing red from hits. On the ground, military forces around the world prepared for the possibility of Harvester landings. Weapons were aimed at the sky. People moved into shelters. Charlie and Amy worked with other scientists to secure the virus samples and animal DNA. If the Harvesters wanted these things, they must be kept safe. "I never thought I'd see anything like this," Amy said as they worked. "A war between alien races fought over Earth." "Fought over us," Charlie corrected her. "We're what they're fighting for now." As night fell, the Harvester ships began to descend. The final battle for Earth was about to begin. The Harvester ships descended toward Earth. There were hundreds of them, each about the size of a football field. They spread out across the globe, hovering over major cities. In Washington, President Adams met with her advisors. The room was tense as they watched screens showing the alien ships. "The Watchers are losing the battle in space," General Moore reported. "Their main ship is badly damaged." "What about the weapons they gave us?" the president asked. "Ready to use," Moore replied. "But we don't know if they'll be enough." One of the Harvester ships landed on the National Mall right in front of the White House. The others remained in the sky watching. A door opened in the side of the landed ship. 3 Harvesters emerged. They were much larger than the Watchers, nearly 8 feet tall with broad shoulders and forearms. Their skin was dark blue, almost black, and they had no hair. Their faces had 3 eyes arranged in a triangle. They walked toward the White House with slow, heavy steps. President Adams decided to meet them, against the advice of her security team. She walked out onto the White House lawn with General Moore and Dr. Lee. Charlie and Amy were called to join them because of their knowledge of the virus. The lead Harvester spoke. Its voice was deep and seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Humans. You have changed since our last visit." "When was your last visit?" President Adams asked. 2 million years ago. You were small then. Simple. Now you build. You speak. You resist." The Harvester's 3 eyes blinked in sequence. "Interesting. We have the right to live freely," the president said. "We are not your property." The Harvester made a sound like rocks grinding together. It might have been a laugh. "All life on this world was created by us. We placed the first cells in your oceans. We shaped your evolution. You exist because we made you. Charlie stepped forward. But we survived your virus because of the creators. They changed us. The harvester turned its three eyes to Charlie. The creators. Yes. Our ancient enemies. They interfered with our garden. Why do you need us? Amy asked. Why collect species from Earth? Knowledge, power. Each species has unique abilities, unique genes. We study them, use them, create new life from them. The harvester looked up at the sky. The Watchers try to stop us. They believe all life should be free. They are wrong. The lead harvester raised one of its forearms. A small device appeared in its hand. We have studied your world since our arrival. Most of our collection is gone, killed by our virus. But you survived. You are now the most valuable species here. We won't let you take any humans, General Moore said firmly. You cannot stop us. The harvester replied. But we do not need to take many. A few thousand samples will be enough. President Adams shook her head. Not even one. We will fight you with everything we have. The harvester's three eyes narrowed. Then you will lose everything. It raised another arm, and the device in its hand began to glow. But before it could do anything, a beam of light shot down from the sky, hitting the ground between the humans and harvesters. Hila appeared in the light. Her watcher form looked small and fragile next to the massive harvesters. Enough, she said. The Council of Worlds has been called. They have made their decision. The lead harvester lowered its arm. The Council has no authority over us. The Council speaks for all spacefaring races, Hila replied. Even yours. From her hand, Hila projected an image into the air. It showed many alien beings of different shapes and sizes, seated in a great circle. One of the aliens spoke. Its voice was translated for the humans to understand. We have observed the situation on Earth. The harvesters claim ownership of all life they seeded, but the humans have been changed by the creators, and they have survived the harvester virus. This makes them unique. The first species ever to resist collection. Another alien spoke. Humanity has shown great adaptability. They have built civilizations, created art and science, and now they face extinction with courage. The first alien spoke again. The Council rules that humanity has earned the right to self-determination. The harvesters must leave Earth and not return. The lead harvester made an angry sound. And if we refuse? Then you face the combined forces of all Council races, Hila said. Your people are strong, but not that strong. For a long moment, no one moved. The humans held their breath. The harvesters stood like statues, their three eyes blinking in that strange sequence. Finally, the lead harvester spoke. We accept the Council's decision for now. It turned to the humans. But know this, you are an accident, a mistake. The creators should not have interfered with our work. Maybe that's true, Charlie said. But here we are, and we've earned our place. The harvesters turned and walked back to their ship. Around the world, the other harvester ships began to rise, returning to their mothership beyond the moon. Hila turned to the humans. You are safe for now. The Council's protection will ensure the harvesters keep their distance. What about the animals? Amy asked. Can they be brought back? Perhaps, Hila said. The virus collected their DNA. With time and the right technology, many species might be restored. And the Watchers? Charlie asked. Will you stay? Hila shook her head. We must go with the Council, but we will return to visit, to help if we can. In the days that followed, the alien ships left Earth's orbit. The sky returned to normal, though people looked at it differently now, knowing what was out there. The world began to rebuild. Scientists worked with the technology the Watchers had left behind. They found ways to use the collected DNA to bring back some animal species, starting with those most important for Earth's ecosystems. 1 year later, Charlie stood in a special room at the Wildlife Preservation Center. Inside was a pair of bald eagles, the first birds successfully brought back from extinction. Amy joined him, watching the magnificent birds. It will take decades to restore what was lost, maybe centuries. But we'll do it, Charlie said. one species at a time. Outside, the first butterfly farm had just released its new generation. The colorful insects fluttered across fields of flowers that had been planted specially for them. Earth was still unusually quiet, but life was returning, and humanity had taken its place among the stars, not as a created species, but as one that had earned its right to exist through adaptation and courage. Charlie looked up at the sky, wondering what else was out there. What other challenges waited? What other wonders? The universe had proven to be far stranger and more dangerous than anyone had imagined. But humans had survived. They had adapted, and they would continue to do so, no matter what came next.